What's up? Welcome back to Elliot's Blah Vlog. It's episode 3. Today I'm going to take you through our house, not as a cribs, which that is an idea to do like a cribs episode, which would be extremely corny, but what else do you expect from me at this point? But take you through the house and show you all the artwork that we have. Some of it's cool, but just like I said, something else to talk about. I also realized that because the camera is not centered on this phone, I have to actually stare at the camera instead of staring at the screen, trying to create better contact with my audience. So I'm going to flip the camera around, kind of walk through some of the artwork. So this is a piece by Vernon Honeywood that we found in Goodwill in Gainesville. And this one caught my eye just because I like, I guess, the blackness of it. It's like something I could relate to, like the children getting their hair done in the kitchen, the hot comb that the mother is clearly taking off the stove or putting back on the stove to run through her daughter's hair. It's a form of straightening hair that black people don't really do anymore. It used to do is do a hot comb. So look up a hot comb and you can get an idea of what that was. But this scene taking place in the kitchen, I felt like was appropriate to put in our kitchen. And Vernon Honeywood, I had not heard her name before, but probably had seen some of her artwork before because she got famous from the Cosby Show. A lot of her artwork was actually featured in the Cosby Show. So if you've seen the Cosby Show before, you've probably seen some artwork by Vernon Honeywood. If I can get that focus. So this one was pretty cool. It's like $5 in Goodwill. Already came framed. So that's pretty neat. So some other ones that I think we either found in the Goodwill or Salvation Army in Gainesville. We have these paintings. They're probably copies at this point, but these paintings that are like music and food themed. So this is Stir It Up, which is based on the Bob Marley song Stir It Up, which is one of my favorite Bob Marley songs actually. So that's a spoon with a cap on and some dreadlocks. Then over here we have Rolling with My Homies. It's pretty clear that that's a car / rolling pin, which is no song title that I can think of off the top of my head, but clear connotation to rap. And similar idea for this Sir Mix-a-Lot one. We have the mixer with a hat on and the mustache. So Sir Mix-a-Lot, if you go on YouTube, the first song you'll probably find is I Like Big Butts. So that's who this is kind of riffing off of. So these kind of, it's the artwork that we have in our kitchen, kind of livens the place up and brings some of our character into this home. Next, in the living room, we have this one, which is called How to Scare Your Cat. And this was actually painted by, or it's a print done by our next door neighbor in Gainesville. His name is Mark Michele. Very interesting guy, and we actually have a lot of his stuff. Used to be a lawyer, but in his free time, he took up art. So this is one of the things that he made. And this one he actually gifted me. I was in the backyard raking some leaves, and he saw me out there, and he went in his house and came back out with this, and was like, "This is for you." And I was like, I told him, like, I don't understand where you're giving this to me. He says it's because I was a good neighbor. So I guess I was a good enough neighbor to get some of his artwork for free. But yeah, this one's pretty neat. It's kind of not abstract, but it's kind of I guess I don't know enough of the eras of art to really place it in any one place, but it's cool. I like it. I'm happy you gave it to me. Over here, I think this is a wood cut pressing. So this was done by a friend from high school, Larissa Stevens, who found it on her website, and that just drew my eye. So you should check out her website and send some business her way. But yeah, this is another thing that, and as you probably hear with all of the art that I show you, it's just things that I think are cool, and so I buy them. I don't really put a whole lot of focus on where the artist is known ahead of time, or if it's like only a certain era of art. It's just cool stuff, and I haven't analyzed at all my art taste and what that says about me. Maybe there's something there. It's probably nothing. But so this is another one. some type of frog looking creature being squeezed with a hat that says no. I don't know if the no is supposed to express what the creature is thinking, or no is just a general kind of counterculture statement to put on the hat. Haven't actually thought about it, but thought it was cool, so I bought it. Over here, this is easily the more expensive thing that I've bought. So this is a painting done by an artist named Hooper. And this is a painting of a dolphin. So this was hanging up in a restaurant in Gainesville called Flacco's. And this guy has a bunch of paintings hanging up in there for sale. And I had gone there numerous times over my time living in Gainesville. And as I was leaving, I was like, well, I have some extra money. I've wanted to buy some of this stuff before, so let me go back before we leave and actually buy something. So this was the one that was like a good price. I think it was, I paid $75 for it or something like that. Good price. I like the way it looked. I like the style of it. It's kind of, I guess, in some ways it's crude. It's not meant to be clean and have nice lines and even colors. I like, I guess, the kind of rough aspect of it. And I'll take this down with one hand, so hopefully I don't drop it. So on the back of it, when he came to sell it to me, so the name of this painting is Flipper, and he used to call himself Stogomatic. But because he was there, he signed it to me for Elliot. Thanks. So I have a signed painting, which is cool. Don't really know how much this will be worth at some point, but it's mine. So if some point in the future, in 50 years, on Antiques Roadshow, you see this painting with my name on the back, know that the Elliot refers to Elliot White. Over here we have another collection, not collection, but another group. So these two were also both done by my neighbor, Mark Michele, and we bought these from just kind of arts festivals that Gainesville had basically every fall, every spring. So this one is a piece of wood that he painted on, and it says, "I see God in the eyes of every man." I just thought it was an interesting phrase. I assume it's a man and a woman. The woman seems to be particularly short. But that phrase, I guess, really caught my attention because it feels like there's something profound about it, but it's also something that I could see being said in a very cheesy movie where a woman is like falling in love, but her friends are like, "Oh, you see God in the eyes of every man." Like, yeah, so there's like a cheesiness to it, but it's just an interesting thing. And something to note about Mark's artwork is that he is, like, I guess, classified as like an outsider artist because he never had any formal training. Uses a bunch of different media to express his art. So we had over here we had like a actual painting, but this is a print of it. Over here we have something on a piece of wood. There's another one that we have from him that's also like a painting on wood. So works with a lot of different media. This is one that we got from an art festival that Katie picked out. This one doesn't have as much going on with it as some of the others. It's called Happy Chicken. This is probably like maybe the least abstract of his stuff that we have, but it still is like the fact that the colors really pop. Nice arrangement of the colors. Just cool painting. This is a painting from Paulo Cruz. We got this we went to Jacksonville just to kind of explore one day, and there was a farmer's market, kind of, not a flea market, farmer's market kind of arts and crafts thing going on under a random bridge that we happened to drive by. So we stopped there, and I saw this. It's called Composition 1, in parentheses, Daisy World. So it was just cool, nothing complicated about it. I just like the colors, the arrangements of the colors together. And I think the frame kind of allows not the blandness, but like there's not a whole lot going on. So this frame, I guess, for me allows it to really stand out and let the painting just exist without trying to make like a bold statement with it if I got a frame that was more gaudy. So pretty simple one. And all of the artists and all of the paintings that we have except for one you've probably never heard of before, because I made a conscious decision to support, unknown artists, since their work is valuable, but they tend to be get less attention than people whose names are bigger, and even historical names. So I try to, only buy things and support more local, smaller artists. So this is another one by my former neighbor, not farmer neighbor, he wasn't a farmer, Mark Michele. And this one, I forget the name of it, so I'll pull it down real quick. And I forget the name of it. Oh God. Forget the name of it for several reasons. It's because over its life cycle, over its creation, it actually had several names. So you can see all the different names that he gave it, and he crossed out. But I think the name that he stuck with was this one, which says, let's focus it real quick. The temp at the bowling alley, your dad, oh, no. The temp at the bowling alley your dad worked at as a porter in, yeah, I actually figured it. He pointed out the right one to me once before, but I lost it. Yeah. So let's keep talking about it. But I know the general story of the painting, so I can talk about it in spite of not knowing the name. So there's like a cool feature about this. So Mark is originally from New Jersey, and in their home in New Jersey, they had an oil heater. And so the frame of this painting is actually the dipstick that they use to check the oil level for their heater. And he took that with him down to Florida, and that's what he used as the frame from this. So that's pretty cool, because there's no other picture that's framed with his personal dipstick from his house. But the person depicted here, as many of those titles reference, was a teacher that both Mark had and several of his friends growing up, and also his dad had as a teacher. The teacher retired, but he had to, I think, take care of his siblings. So even though he was retired, that wasn't enough money to support everyone. So he had to take up a job as a porter at a bowling alley. So I guess it's kind of sad, but this was one that I saw and I immediately wanted it, because it was just odd, it was captivating. Yeah, so a lot of the things I like in terms of art are odd, I guess. Another one by Mark. This one is called First Cup. So this was, I guess he had a wild night, and this is how he saw himself the next morning searching for his first cup of coffee after waking up. And this is print number 2 of 100. This one is probably the only artist that you've heard of before, and it's Grant Wood. And this is the American Gothic painting. So my wife is from Southeast Iowa, and not far from where she lives is the American Gothic house, which is in the background of this painting. And I guess a fun fact that many people don't know is that it's called American Gothic because of this Gothic window on this house. So the story, as I understand it, is Grant Wood was going to go visit a friend who lived in this town called Eldon, Iowa. And he saw this humble house, basically. Sears at the time, you could basically order a house through a catalog and parts. They would ship everything for you, and you would put it together. But because it was something that you could pick your parts and assemble, you could pick what windows you wanted. So he thought it was kind of odd that this kind of plain looking house in rural Iowa had this Gothic window, this Gothic attic window, something that's kind of reminiscent of kind of older European architecture. And the people depicted in this painting they only met each other once in real life, so they're not the people that lived in this place. The man who is portrayed as the father here was actually Grant Wood's dentist, and the woman who is was the reference for that person is his sister. and he didn't want, or his sister didn't want to be recognized, so he elongated her face so that it made her less recognizable. But if you go online and look at, search for this painting, you can find the pictures of each of these people, and the dentist for sure looks exactly like them. Uh, so this was cool. We visited that place, and I like to buy kind of things, memorabilia from places I visit. Usually it's a magnet, refrigerated magnet, which maybe I can show you at another time, but just got this. So that's pretty neat. Over here we have I don't know what it's called. It's just a bunch of plant pressings and butterfly pressings in between two panes of glass. This one just looks nice. I guess it invokes like springtime in nature. It's kind of a still life in a way, except it's real things. It's not things that are painted. And we also picked this up in Jacksonville at that same kind of arts and crafts farmers market thing. We do have some paintings in the bathroom, but they're not. I liked them when we first got them. I'll just show it. They're pretty lame at this point now, but it's just flowers. We picked these up when we were in Savannah once. There are two of them that kind of go together. And this is kind of our game room, and also functioning as Katie's office right now. So on this wall we have our diplomas. But this one is another one that we found in either Goodwill or Salvation Army in Gainesville. And this one like immediately caught my eye because it just says New Orleans to me. So I don't know what this painting is based on. There's no name or anything attached to it, but it looks like a shotgun house. And if you've ever been to New Orleans or seen movies with New Orleans, you've seen this style of house before. Grew up in a house that looks like this. So it just, as soon as I saw it, it just like invoked this feeling of home for me that, so I had to buy it because it's only like $2 to $3, $5, $4, something like that. So yeah, this is a cool one, and I wanted to put it in here because this is like a space where I guess can feel at home. And that kind of goes on the same theme over here. We have this drawing of the state of Louisiana, the coastline, and the Gulf of Mexico, and the Mississippi River entering into the Gulf of Mexico. So we found this in the closet in my old building at UF. A whole bunch of these hand drawings in there that were really neat. So my advisor gave me this one. Don't know who the artist is for this, but it was cool. So it's hanging up in here now. And that's all the art we have in our house. Well, I guess we have a few other pieces actually. So this was a caricature drawing that we got done when we went to Universal Studios in Orlando, back early when we were in Gainesville, actually, all the way in October 2015. This guy drew my neck very huge, and I've actually been told before when I was getting measured for a shirt that I have a small neck for my body. So I guess I wish my neck were that big so people wouldn't say it's so small. This we did on our first anniversary in Florida. So our first anniversary of dating while living in Florida. It's we went to a place called Painting with a Twist, and we did a couples painting. As you can see by how self-important I think I am by writing my name and also putting a little drawing of myself. Mine is the one on the right, Katie's on the left. For not having done much painting in my life, and I don't think Katie has either, I think we did a pretty decent job. So I guess it's in our bedroom as a symbol of our unity and our love to one another. On this wall we have just some pictures from our some engagement photos printed out. It looked nice. Well, good photography done by Nita B in Gainesville. If you need some photography and you're in Gainesville, contact Nita B. She felt like she did a really good job. We still haven't printed out any pictures from our wedding actually, which we should probably do at some point because those pictures were also really nice and it's nice for to commemorate that time. And then the last thing we have is this sign that says "You're the sunshine of my life," which is, if you know Stevie Wonder, it's a line from a Stevie Wonder song, really beautiful song that we got as a wedding present from Kaylee's parents. So the E and K 62919, the day we got married. Just as a wedding present, I guess commemorating our love. So this is the room where we indulge ourselves in each other's love. With all the pictures of each other that we have and the things we've done together. So that's everything. And I guess the one last piece of art that I can show is Gibson. Hey Gibson, you gonna be on YouTube, buddy? All right, well, yeah, it's our artwork. I think it's all really cool. Hopefully you think some of it's cool. Next time, I think to try and like keep the channel diverse and not only talk about cooking, which I can talk about a lot for long periods of time. And if you made it through that first video, I'm proud of you. But next time we might talk about my records. So I have 3 boxes of records at this point. It's like over 150, I think, which is too many. The only reason it's not more at this point is because we're in quarantine and the record store that I like is closed. So next time we might kind of go through some of my records, show you some of my favorites, ones that I found that I think are cool, that maybe people haven't come across before, or I don't know, whatever. So yeah, that's it. That's our art. See you next time. Peace.